My name's Reaper. Spend the day with me as I conquer Sandton at the age of 19. So yeah, here we're in Morningside, Sandton. One of my listings, going for about 3 million, looking to sell it for just above, make a good offer, come to a fair agreement for the owner, myself, and the potential buyer. Basically, what I'm gonna do now is take you guys all throughout the house, show you every part of the house, the spec, the bedrooms, etc., as I'm about to meet up with the potential buyer probably within the next hour 30 or so to give them a good viewing. And then after giving them a viewing, then they really decide whether they want to go through with the deal or not. It seems like a really promising deal, a really promising prospect. And the game of property, it's a love-hate relationship, but that's what makes it all worth the while. It's fun like that. So yeah, for now, we have a great opportunity. We're in a great place, high-end listing, high-end area. One of the most high-end developments here in Bryanston/Morningside, Sandton. There's a lot of big names in the area too. Like just in this complex alone, I was speaking to one of the executives of the development company who's actually here now, and they were telling me how like just here there's like a world-renowned artist. At another place there's a lawyer, there's 2 doctors, it just doesn't stop with the big names or how high end these people are, the professionals that are here. So it's like it feels good to be in this type of environment because it makes me feel like I'm going somewhere, and that's the thing. That's the thing, you gotta put yourself where you want to be before other people think you should be there or other people say go there, because most times, more than never, people never actually tell you to. So here we are, man. Here we are. Let's go to the top. Join me. Let's do this. So basically what we have here is a 2 garage with some driveway space. Maybe you can accommodate 1 car, if I'm being honest. And it's not the most spacious, but it is still a very nice development, very nice home. And then we're introduced to the living space. This is our first living space. Here we have the TV, so you can imagine that a couch would be situated somewhere here a certain way. And then, from there we do have our first guest bathroom. First guest bathroom, very high-end features here with this bowl-like basin, high-end sink, high-end tap, high-end toilets, from Duravid. It's very simple, but very high-end, high-quality development and use of appliances, etc., in the property itself. Then as we move on from the first guest bathroom, one feature I'd like to point out is this balustrade. It's very simple, it's clean, it's glass, but it's also quite durable. It's quite durable. Don't look at it and say, oh, it's just glass, somebody could just fall. Oh, that depends on how you see it. But as you can see, it looks high-end, it looks expensive, it looks sleek, it looks clean. If a person doesn't touch it too much like I've been doing, then there won't be too many fingerprints. The only downside about it is that you may need to clean it a bit more in that context. But truth being told, there aren't any downsides about this if you ask me. It looks very high-end, it looks expensive, it looks quality, it's chic, really communicates the style of the entire villa, if you ask me. And then from there, we're introduced into this somewhat of an indoor patio area, because you have this door to close off in case weather is not accommodating or it's cold, it's raining, whatever the case may be, but you can still enjoy the area without the inconvenience of weather. So now it's like, what's nice about it is the way it's situated for the complete entertainer's paradise. You have this table here. It could even be somewhat of a dining area if that's what you choose to make it. But then point is that it opens directly to the kitchen, so it is significantly easy to serve food. And if this is an entertainment area and you're hosting the game with the boys, then you guys can see the game from here upon you guys opening the door, or you can see through the glass of the other side of the sliding door. You know, it's a good view of both the TV when you're entertaining and serving the food. So it's definitely the entertainer's paradise. This is like, if you ask me, as a young bachelor, if I had this under my name, this was my house, I would feel like him, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, from there, we're introduced to this high-end kitchen, you know, quality gas stove. I notice nowadays that gas is it, you know, the gas stove, you got the oven here, you know, like nowadays electricity stoves are not a thing too much no more. But you got high-end Smeg appliance gas stove with an abductor there, and then you have the Bosch fridge, and everything comes with appliances. You have the Bosch washing machine, you know, Bosch dryers, Bosch tumble dryers. You have your microwave, and this is your scullery area, as you can anticipate, which gives you direct access to outside the property here, you know, close to the trash. So it's designed in the convenient manner. It's definitely a convenient area. Then from here, we're introduced to our two garage, you know, where the Porsche and the G-Wagon are parked safely, confidently. You know, you enjoy the space. So yeah, this is where you keep your 911 Carrera GTS and your G63 on the other side, or vice versa. Doesn't matter. Go up the staircase, like, damn, I got all these designer bags, yada yada, to pick up. It's too heavy, la la. And the balustrade continues here as well. Then you're introduced to your first bedroom, your guest bedroom. Here you could probably have a queen size bed, you know, definitely a queen size bed space. And here we have the TV mount. So if you want to put a TV in this room, you definitely can. And we have our first bathroom. If I'm being honest, it is, you know, it's not the most spacious, but it is a guest bathroom. So it's not too big of a deal because it's not an everyday living space in most instances. Maybe if you have someone that lives with you, but they'd get used to it. You know, all they need to do is use the toilet, take a shower, brush their teeth, and wash their hands. Nothing much. And then from there, after you've been introduced to this first guest bathroom, we come here to this area, which is really more like a makeshift study that is not necessarily closed off. So as you can see, the way the plugs are situated, a person could just place an iMac here and do whatever they want, whether they trade, whether they do this, whether they do that, whether they entertain themselves, whatever they do here, they can do it if they so wish, because it's kind of convenient. It's not necessarily far from your, you know, comfort space of your room, either one. Overall designed in that way, because you also do have extra cupboard space, maybe for blankets, or if you know, like I said, you went crazy on Diamond Walk, so you have an abundance of clothes. So you gotta, your room can't even compensate them, or your walk-in closet. Then here you're introduced to what is actually the master bedroom. So you can see it's quite a simple layout. In my opinion, it's a simple layout for a master bedroom, but it's still actually quite decent and comfortable, because you do have your TV here, you have your cupboards, you know, you have your bed, and then you're introduced to your walk-in closet. Now this, for me, is the fashionista's dream, because there is endless space. Your leather jackets, your chinchilla jackets, your shoes are stacked, your belts, your whatever the hell. You even have a safe where you just want to stack your cash in there. You can do it, no problem. And then from there, you're introduced to your master bathroom with two basin sinks, and a large mirror. You can clearly see yourself when you're getting ready for your day. And then here you have your bath. So from your bath, your toilet and your shower. Double shower for his and hers, very large space. It's convenient, it's comfortable, it's inviting, it's good. And then from there, you have your third bedroom. This is your second guest bedroom with a nice flat screen TV again. Then here we have a good view from this sliding door, which is not a balcony, but it compensates either way because you may get not really a great view of Sandton traffic, which is perfectly fine. Maybe a better view of your neighbors, but overall it is a comfortable space. You can open it, get some good sunshine, you listen to the ambience of the animals and Sandton traffic. Let's acknowledge this abundance of closet space once again. So your guest or whoever else would be living here, maybe if you're a family, it would be the child or children's room or whatever. So there's definitely an abundance of space for anybody. And then here we have the bathroom. And then we have the basin sink, the toilet, and the shower. So this is a much more spacious option and layout in terms of the bathroom than we saw in our first guest bathroom. So here, it's quite comfortable, a lot more comfortable for me, getting in the shower, in and out the shower. It's not too bad. The space here. So it's nice. It's nice if you ask me. And then we move on. And yeah, so if I'm being honest, that is the entire inside of the house. A very simple 3-bedroom here at Morningside, but also, quite the high-end listing, quite the high-end home. Here, the patio deck with all the different, I'd say, vases if you want to put in more plants. I like the way that the outside has been designed with all these different details. I can't really put words to it right now. I'm at a loss for words if I'm being honest. But yeah, I like these trees as well. Look like palm trees, but they're not really palm trees. So it gives off this, I would say maybe, in my opinion, considering the style of the inside and the outside, it's like that Miami vibe, that Miami Villa condo here in Sandton. So you can have the Miami condo experience in Sandton, all for $3 million, which in America would be like what, $150,000 or just under. So that's kind of a steal if you think about it. Little alleyway where you keep the trash, hang your clothes, simple stuff. And this is where the gas is stored. We have some very large gas tanks here, which travel inwards all the way to a system that goes from here all the way into the inside of the house. So you'd call a company, and then the company would come with these very large gas tanks and replace them probably after a few months, because if you ask me, even more than a few months, maybe even a year. This journey of conquest here in Sandton is, it's one hell of a journey, man. It comes with everything. It's definitely a roller coaster. It's got emotions, it's got thoughts of uncertainty, it's got stress, it's got excitement, it's got optimism, it's got boredom, believe it or not. It's got everything you can anticipate from a roller coaster experience in terms of a professional career, I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh yeah, we just have this 3 million house, we just sell it, and then everything is good, everyone is fine. The journey getting to this point takes a lot more, It definitely takes a lot more than staying at this point, is what I'm trying to say. Because getting here, it takes unseen work, it takes silent wins. Even this itself, it's not even a certified win. Already getting the listing itself is enough of, a challenge. But, we never really like to announce success prematurely. Acknowledge that we're confident, but, I don't really like announcing success prematurely. I'd rather show results and, let them speak for themselves. But basically what I'm trying to say is, with your dreams, in terms of whether you want to be an athlete, whether you want to be an artist, whether you want to be in real estate, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to be famous for nothing or whatever, it doesn't really matter what your mind can conceptualize. My point is that in this life you can do this. Because a few months ago, I had no idea. I'm telling you now, beginning of 2025, I had no idea I would be doing property, much less to this extent. Already now, I can say I've listed about plus minus 20 million rand in houses. I haven't closed them all because, the industry is competitive, it's first come, first serve. But to have gotten, a nudge saying that I've been here, I've been there, I've seen it. I was like, you got a taste of some meal of a buffet that if you keep going, you'll eat forever. You'll eat in surplus. Is really the beauty of this game. And basically what I'm trying to say now is that I want to inspire other people my age to understand that it's possible to do what the average person thinks is not possible. Most people don't think that you should be 19 years old, stressing about how am I going to sell this 5 million rand house? I'm going to sell this 5 million rand house. I need to do this deal, this, that. And it doesn't matter if you're older than 19, you could be 29, you could be 39. My point is the way you use your mind is your biggest asset. Because somebody I was speaking to yesterday, actually one of my mentor is actually mentoring me in property. He was telling me that your mind is a place you're going to be in for the whole of your life, for the rest of your life. You may as well make it a place that is enjoyable, And that really hit me because I was like, damn, really, it doesn't matter. You could have a friend today, you won't be friends tomorrow. You could, be in a relationship today, you won't be in that relationship tomorrow. But your mind is for as long as you're alive. So if you compromise your mental well-being, your state in which you feel sure within yourself, your ability to have dominion over yourself and your life, then you've compromised a lot more than this short term that you have right now. And it's intense. It's crazy because that's where you lose your power. You lose your power in life, you lose your power in thought, you lose your power in self, you lose yourself. We're all on this journey to actualize ourselves, more than just understand ourselves. I know I've met a lot of people, and a lot of the time they say they just, life is filled with lessons, which is a fact. Life is filled with lessons, but more than just learning, we want to actualize ourselves in this life. We want to say, I've made something of myself. I can look at my creation in this life, as myself. The ability to say, yeah, I started from 0 and I went to 100 myself is probably the best thing that could ever happen. But my point is guys, the power of the mind is unmatched once you become aware and conscious of it. The way you talk to yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the way you see the world, your confidence, and in alignment with how you act, because most of the time, most people are they're gonna try and discourage you, man. Even the people who you think have your back, 9 times out of 10, they don't really have your back, not because they don't like you or because they don't believe in you. They just can't see it yet. They can't see it, so they don't feel it, so they don't believe it. It's your superpower, it's your prerogative, it's your responsibility to show the people that are around you how much of a powerhouse you are. That your goals are not just dreams, That your goals are not just talk a lot, not walk a lot. It's your responsibility. And when I tell you now, bro, there is no challenge. There is no challenge that hurts today that if you keep going, it's still gonna keep hurting tomorrow. Everything is temporary. The most powerful mentality you can adopt is the Stoic mentality of this too shall pass. This too shall pass, because even in times when you win, you need to realize it's not gonna last forever. It's not gonna last forever. You're not gonna be, that 1M you made. It's not gonna be there forever because you need to buy stuff. In fact, the whole point of you making that money is so you can buy stuff. So that million is not gonna be there forever. But it doesn't mean you don't appreciate your win. It just means that you are consciously aware of the fact that this road hasn't come to a standstill. And that allows you to keep focused and keep going, regardless of whether things are perfectly fine or things are going south. Either way, you're in a place where you're stable and you just keep going, keep going, keep going. And before you know it, that's where you've built something great, because you didn't focus on the one win, you didn't focus on the one loss. You just took everything and you were able to implement and make something of everything. And that's the beauty of this game called life. So guys, I'm here, Rem Reaper, just soldiered through the crib, I'm really gonna work hard on closing this deal, even if I don't close it, I keep going, walk my talk, keep going, I'll keep doing everything I can in my power until I actualize exactly what my goals are. And until then, thank you so much for joining me. Peace.